Hello and welcome to another episode of That's Absurd. Please elaborate. I'm just so distracted by your flipping hair, Julian. I am Trace Dominguez, and I swear this podcast is real. It's a real show that you're really listening to. Every week, we answer questions from you, the audience, and we try and do our best. It's so floppy. We try and do our best to answer those science questions with a satisfying answer. Thank you for those who have sent in those questions to us. We've got 2 questions, brand new ones here today. I'm Trace Dominguez. I'm a science communicator, and I'm here with Reginald, the flippy hair, and also his science communicator friend that he's attached to, Julian Huguet.
Hi. Hi. Since this is an audio medium, I'll elaborate. I have like one tuft of hair that, as I tilt my head back and forth, it's doing a like put your arms in the air like you just don't care kind of movement.
It's very floppy.
And I can see it in my video playback, and so can Trace, and I'm inadvertently distracting him. But anyway, on to the questions. I selected a question this week from Macks, who we've answered one of Max's questions before. This was selected by the randomizer. I swear I'm not playing favorites. I just saw it, and I liked it. And Max's question was, what would it take to pour a Coke without losing any of the carbonation?
Any? Like
any.
0.0%.
Macks makes it very clear that's the degree he's
the
talking
word
about.
Any.
Macks says, Julian, Jace, absurdolates, I am so sick of losing delicious carbonation to foam and froth when I pour an ice-cold cola into my cup. How can I maximize the throat-burning power of my Coke? What contraption, environment, or twist of physics would I need to ensure that, in all caps, not a single bubble of CO2 is lost in the process of transferring my cola from one vessel to another? The question we end with is usually, does this solve anything? But in this case, for me, it solves, again, all caps, everything.
I love this. This is great. Also, something I think about when I'm pouring a soda into another container or a beer or some other carbonated beverage, and I pour one from the other, and I'm just like, am I making this actively worse?
I'm not gonna lie. I've had the same thought because I see the fizziness coming out, and you know, we've experienced the continuum of soda fizziness, right? You've had a freshly cracked can, and it's so crisp and refreshing. And then because you have ADHD, you sat it down and you got absorbed with something else for 3 hours. And then you come back to it. You literally have one on your desk.
Right here on my desk from 3 hours ago.
Right? And it's not good. It's not good anymore. It's quite bad, actually. And you realize, I think, as Macks must have, that
not good anymore.
The ideal amount of fizz is the maximum, and any that you lose is detrimental to the flavor, I think is fair to say, right?
Fair. Yes.
And, you know, I wanted to do a deeper dive, but I was like, what? Why do we like fizzy drinks to begin with?
Oh.
And I found a great video.
I was going to say, this sounds like something that we would have researched in the past.
Yeah, like 11 years ago.
For our show. For our show that we used to do.
Yep.
Oh, God. Who did it? Who did it?
A one handsome Trace W. Dominguez.
It was me. Wait, let's see if I remember anything. We like fizzy drinks. Hey there, fizz heads. Welcome to D News. This is John Trace.
You're in the headspace.
I'm in the headspace.
You're
I got my eyes closed,
palace.
going through all 350 words of this script in my head. Oh, no. I have no memory of it. I think it has something to do with spiciness. Or
yours was, oh, you know what? You're not wrong.
Oh, cool.
The video you wrote was specific to champagne because we released it around New Year's time. Topical.
Got it. Very topical.
And of course, covered how champagne is made, right? And specified that it's got to be from the Champagne region of France. You were all on top of it.
Right.
And how the fermentation of sugars in champagne causes, you know, the yeast to burp out CO2 as well as produce the alcohol that gets you drunk, right?
I like to think of it as pooping it out.
That's actually the wording that you used.
I like to think of it that way when when you're drinking kombucha, you're just, you're drinking alcohol. You're really just, it eats the sugars and it poops out anyway.
It is the waste product, yeah. So maybe poop is more fair and accurate to say. Although colas, like Macks is talking about, get their fizz from it being injected straight into them, right? As opposed to something in the drink fermenting and making CO2. We take CO2 and we cram it on in there to make it fizzy. The reasons we like it, though, are it adds something to it. There's that mechanical sensation of the bubbles fizzing and popping, but there's also the carbonic acid that it introduces into the solution, right? Sodas are about 86% water from some figures I could find, right? And when you have CO2 dissolved in water, you get carbonic acid. We've talked about this over and over again. That's why your water left out overnight tastes gross.
Yeah.
Reacts with the CO2 in the atmosphere, becomes more acidic, and you taste that as that sour, bitter taste.
Yeah.
Well, when you cram more CO2 into the soda, you're going to shift that equilibrium towards more carbonic acid. You're going to get more of that sour, bitter flavor. And then the rest of the soda is formulated to work with that and give you a delicious taste, which is why when sodas are flat, they taste really sweet, right?
They don't taste so good.
They don't taste good, but have you noticed they taste really sweet?
Yeah, I mean, yes, of course I have. I had recently, actually, at a restaurant that I was at, I ordered, because I only really order soda like when I'm out. I don't keep it in the house because I will actually drink it, and in sugar water, not that helpful for, if you're sitting around and having dad time and you don't want to get a dad bod. So, anyway, it was very flat, and I was just like, yeah, it's not good.
Tastes bad. I think we've all been there.
That was a long story to just agree with you, really.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, how do we get fizz into the drink? Well, like I mentioned, we just basically cram it on in there, and this is possible thanks to what's known as Henry's Law. Which Henry's Law states the amount of dissolved gas in a liquid is directly proportional at equilibrium to its partial pressure above the liquid. So the more gas you have at a higher pressure above the surface of the liquid means you can cram more of that gas into the liquid itself. And it's going to be different for every gas and liquid. And it's also going to be different at different temperatures. So for CO2 and water at room temperature, that constant, known as Henry's Law constant, is about 0.031 moles per liter atmospheres.
Whoa.
So at 1 atmosphere of pressure, you can cram 0.031 moles into 1 liter of water.
Okay.
So for a 2-liter bottle of soda, which is typically at about 4 atmospheres of pressure, that means that you can fit about 5.4 liters of CO2 gas. Once all that gas comes out and takes up space in the room, it will take up about 5.4 liters at standard temperatures and pressure.
Okay.
So the more pressure the gas is under, the more the liquid can hold. And that's why we typically use about 4 atmospheres. But in something like a soda fountain, where you need it to put a lot of gas into the liquid quickly because you're getting soda on demand, the pressure might be as high as 7 atmospheres inside the little carbonator tank.
Wow.
Macks also mentioned that he likes his soda ice cold, and surprise, surprise, cold soda holds more CO2 than warm soda.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
If you think about it at the molecular level, it makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah, it does.
What is heat?
Oh, don't ask that question again. Just it's wiggly. It's wiggly.
It's how much them atoms are wiggling around. Yeah. Heat is wiggles, basically.
Yeah.
So it's the energy that individual atoms or molecules have, right, as they're moving around. So gas molecules that are hotter are going to be moving around faster. They're going to have more energy. They're going to be able to escape being dissolved in this liquid more easily than if they were colder and had less energy and can't bounce around. Also, something that doesn't get mentioned usually when we're talking about this, but a thing that I want to bring up because I think we've all experienced it, is why does shaking the soda make it explode? What's going on there?
I feel like you're probably just adding energy to the wiggles.
Well, not necessarily to the wiggles. You're introducing turbulence into the soda, right? You're shaking it around and you're making it easier for the dissolved gas in it to break the surface tension, which is the amount of energy it takes to separate molecules of the liquid.
Yeah.
So normally, that takes a lot for the little gas bubbles to get started. And then once they form, it's easier for them. If you shake it up, it's easier for those bubbles to form in the first place. And then they might stick to the side of the can. And then when you open it, these bubbles of CO2
are just like, rush him! Let's get out of here!
And they're nucleation sites for more bubbles to form. So more CO2 gas can also start forming on these bubbles. And so all of a sudden you get this huge outburst of gas from the,
but Julian,
the can. Yes.
The real question is, why when I drop a Mentos into the can, they just hate Mentos?
That is also has something to do with nucleation sites, if I remember.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, it's like the Mentos surface, even though it looks all smooth, has a lot of microscopic little divots, right? And it's easy for bubbles to form in those little cavities.
And then to your point, that just is a chain reaction that gives more nucleation sites, and then once it hits a tipping point, then it's just a fun show.
Yeah. So it's fodder for science YouTubers for well over a decade now.
Yes, indeed. That and elephant toothpaste.
As a matter of fact, I, long time ago, was with a science YouTuber and he was doing experiments on how to make a bigger, like Coca-Cola Mentos fountain explosion for some record-breaking video.
Yeah.
And we discovered when we tried to transfer soda from one place to another that we lost a ton of fizz in the process, and it made it much worse. And so this question, I think, kind of reminded me of that experience. And I was like, how could we have made this better?
Yeah, you're still worried about it. Still just wanted to make a good video. And I appreciate that about you so much.
Speaking of good videos and cans of soda being shaken, though, one of my all-time favorites is this one. You know how there's that method of opening a shaken up soda? You tap the side of it?
Yeah, you just tap it. We tap the top. I don't know if you tap the side, you crazy person, but
that dislodges those bubbles that are sitting on the side of the can that are nucleation sites for more bubbles to form. If you don't want to do that, though, you can do what Canadian National Treasure astronaut Chris Hadfield does in this video.
I love that man.
Have you seen this video of him opening a shaken can of soda?
No.
So
I'm watching it right now. He shakes it up. He's shaking it. He's talking about it. He's going to open it. And he opens it, and it's fine.
Nothing happens. Now,
nothing happened.
In order to talk to me, you had the sound off, so you couldn't hear him mention one very important detail. But where is he in this video?
He's at the Ann Arbor Fire Department.
According to his shirt.
According to his t-shirt. I don't know where he is specifically. Oh, it says he's on the ocean floor.
Mm-hmm.
In the title, it's 2.5 atmospheres somewhere deep below the sea. Oh, so it's a high atmospheric pressure.
Exactly.
Whoa.
He's in a high pressure environment. And so the bubbles in his soda can't escape as easily.
When did this video come out? Because
this is an old one.
It's old. Just you can just tell by the color and the lack of color.
Yeah.
The res is not high. 13 years ago. Okay,
the res off the charts. The res very low.
Yes.
Low
Nailed
res,
it.
high res.
Low res, high res. That was the early internet, for sure. You just described the early internet perfectly. Low res, high res.
High res.
And also, for some reason, comforters. Lots of bedrooms, comforters, and all sorts of things.
Gotta be comfortable. That's number one for me.
But
I don't think... The older I get, the more committed I am to that philosophy.
This is amazing. It's such an old video. I love this.
I'm surprised you hadn't seen it. I
Never.
Immediately thought of this video. And yeah, so Chris Hadfield is somewhere under the sea where they have pressurized this environment to 2.5 atmospheres, and it keeps the CO2 from escaping. Now, he still says that he tastes the fizziness. And that's kind of interesting because is the CO2 escaping or is something else going on there? Are bubbles forming or not? And actually, it's not really clear why that happens. So people assume that the feeling of bubbles popping on the tongue is what they're actually sensing. But it may not be that case because When climbers who take altitude sickness drugs drink champagne, they report that it has a dishwashery taste to it, and it's not as good. And it's because they block the enzyme that breaks down carbonic acid inside the bubbly drink. But they still report like a fizziness sensation to it. So people assume that the bubbles forming are what gives it kind of that fizzy sensation. But when people drink carbonated beverages like Hadfield did in there, inside pressurized chambers where the bubbles don't burst, they still describe it that same way. So maybe it's not purely mechanical. Maybe it comes more from the enzymes breaking down carbonic acid in the drink, and some other sensory things are happening there to give us that kind of fizziness as well.
Interesting.
You know, what's funny is you mentioned these things in the video you made. Now, I think there might be a problem, though, because while it seems that Commander Hadfield's drink didn't lose any fizz after he shook it up and opened it in this high-pressure environment,
right?
I don't know if that meets Max's criteria, because Max stated explicitly, not a single bubble of CO2 can be lost.
And he means lost between vessels, not lost between glass and mouth.
Let's just say not a single bubble lost at all.
Yeah,
right?
None.
Once
Zero.
you open
Zip.
it, zero. None. Okay? Well, Henry's law, you might remember, says that it depends on the partial pressure of the gas above the surface of the liquid.
Right.
And that means the pressure contributed by that specific gas. So, if a can of soda or a bottle of soda, the CO2 above the soda is at 4 atmospheres of pressure, you would have to open it at an environment where the CO2 is at 4 atmospheres of pressure.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. It is a lot. Because here's the problem. CO2, we talk about it a lot because it's a major greenhouse gas. It's a very small constituent compared to, especially nitrogen, which is about 79, 80% of the atmosphere. Oxygen is almost 20%, and then the remaining 1% is other stuff. And CO2 is a very small part of that, right?
Right.
1 atmosphere of pressure is about 101.3 kilopascals. Pascal is a measurement of pressure. It's force over an area. That's 1 atmosphere at sea level on Earth.
Right.
Of that, CO2 contributes about 0.05 kilopascals of pressure.
Oh, no.
So a teeny tiny amount. And you need to get that number up to 4 to not... 4 atmospheres, or about 400 kilopascals, which means if you were to take normal air that's around us and pressurize it to that point, it would be at about 7,600 atmospheres.
Oh my.
You would not want to be in this environment.
I don't think you could be in this environment.
Couldn't.
There is no estoy, if you know what I'm saying. You're not. I will not be.
And the problem arises for the same reason that CO2 dissolves into soda. When you have these gases under really, really, really high pressures, they're going to dissolve into other stuff like the tissues in your body.
Oh, my.
So nitrogen, for example, the biggest constituent of the atmosphere, if you start cramming it into the soft tissues of your body, like what happens with divers as they go below, say, 90 meters or about 10 atmospheres of pressure total on them, they start experiencing nitrogen narcosis.
Ooh.
Which at first makes them feel all euphoric and happy, and then, eventually can kill them. There's also oxygen toxicity is a problem, or hypercapnia, which is CO2 toxicity. There's too much CO2 in your bloodstream, and all of these things can be fatal at way, way, way less than 7,600 atmospheres.
Yeah, that seems like too many atmospheres.
Now, I'm no expert, but I prefer my atmospheres around 1.
Look, I'm just a dumb podcaster over here.
Generally in the vicinity of 1.
I would say approximately 1 atmosphere, my favorite.
Now, there are people who live and work in extremely pressurized environments. Have you heard of saturation divers?
I have heard of this.
What do you know about saturation divers?
Where they'll like be in a hyperbaric chamber and stuff to kind of get used to a high pressure. Is that right?
Yeah.
And then they go down and to high pressures that would be difficult to go to otherwise because, you know, even the suits that we make don't work as well at those pressures.
Yeah, so these are divers that live and work hundreds of meters below the surface. And the thinking behind living down there is that, well, every time a diver comes up from the deep, you've got to slowly reacclimate them to sea level pressure, right? Because of all those gases that get dissolved into their soft tissues, if they come out too fast, they can give divers condition known as the bends, right? And depending on where things are dissolved, you know, it can cause like neurological damage. It hurts a lot.
Yeah.
And it can be fatal. You generally don't want that on the people that you're, you know, hiring to fix stuff on the ocean floor. And so when they dive down hundreds of meters deep, it could take as long as 4 days for them to reacclimate in a depressurization chamber to the surface. And if they're going to dive down and work for 1 day and then depressurize for 4, that doesn't really make sense.
No.
Fiscally.
May as well just stay down there.
Yeah, that was basically the line of thinking. And these are divers that live for as long as 28 days, working 6-hour shifts and rotating with other people on things that are at the bottom of the ocean floor. A lot of these divers work in oil and gas industries where there are lines running along the ocean floor for oil rigs.
Yeah.
And they're living in environments that are as high as 19 atmospheres of pressure or more.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just living a normal life.
They're not breathing air that's composed of the same stuff that we have here on the surface, though. They, for these reasons, again, if you don't want certain gases dissolving in your bloodstream, they might be breathing a specialized mix of like helium and oxygen.
Yeah.
So they can more safely work in these environments without getting this like nitrogen poisoning, the nitrogen narcosis that might make them a bit loopy when they're wielding an underwater blowtorch. You know, you don't want that.
It sounds like a great movie, though.
I'd say. So, Macks, if Chris Hadfield at 2.5 atmospheres could shake up a can and experience pretty small CO2 loss, 19 atmospheres of pressure is great, although because they're down there breathing a specialized mix that doesn't have CO2 in it, there's actually no partial pressure of CO2. So according to Henry's law, all the CO2 would actually just escape.
Immediately. This would be the opposite. This is Julian, you found the opposite of what Macks
opposite of what he wants.
He wanted no bubbles. You're saying all bubbles.
All bubbles. All bubbles escape. It's true. So, you did mention a loophole that Macks may have left me. And that is, he does specify not lost in the process of transferring his cola from one vessel to another.
Look, living in Michigan, they passed laws that said you couldn't drive your car with a person who had alcohol inside of their body. Not the person driving, but like a person with alcohol inside their body who was under 21. And the courts decided, I think, if I remember correctly, that your body is considered a vessel. So if you have a container of alcohol in the car, that container is named Julian, and Julian is not 21. He has an open container of alcohol in his car.
Wow. Laws are silly sometimes.
Laws are pretty silly. I might be misremembering, but this was definitely something that was going around when I was a young person.
Well, if we ascribe to this Michigan legal doctrine, what you should do is when you go to a restaurant of some kind that has a self-serve soda fountain.
Sure.
Because it's pressurized there on the spot and then comes out of the tap. Yeah. You need to just stick your face,
your mouth
under the and you need
your
to
lip parts.
Suction onto it. Yeah,
get the lip parts all around it.
Yeah, you need to minimize the amount of time that
just get them in there.
That soda is going to be exposed to the atmosphere and let the CO2 escape.
You
just clamp right on.
Go full predator.
Yeah,
and just get your face.
Yeah,
on there.
Or if you have a bottle or a can, if you could learn how to open it while it's already pressed to your face.
I do know how to do that, but I don't because my teeth were too expensive. That's what my mom told me, so I'm not allowed to do it. Like, I can open a pop can with my teeth. And I can put my mouth around the top.
Yeah,
but
my dental hygienist mother would never allow it. I mean, she's already upset at the amount of soda I drink, which is probably an unhealthy amount. Like,
it's just between you and me. How many cans a day are we up to now?
I try and be good. I try and limit myself to one, okay?
Okay, good.
Okay.
See, this is why I don't buy it. If I don't have it at home.
I fail
If I don't
often.
have it at home, I won't drink it.
Hey, that's probably a bingo for somebody. We haven't talked about my mom in a while, so that's great.
Hey!
Anyway, Max, that's my solution for you. You either need to be in a highly pressurized, specifically with CO2 environment, which will probably kill you, and that wouldn't solve most things, unless that is kind of darkly what you're alluding to at the end of your question of that solving everything. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
We like having you submit questions. We need you for the show. Or you can publicly embarrass yourself by sucking directly from the soda fountain to minimize CO2 loss. Those are my solutions.
I love that. Can I ask a follow-up question?
Sure.
Before we go on a break. How long does it take to get this nitrogen necrosis or whatever?
It gets worse at depth and...
Well, while you look it up, let me tell you what I'm thinking. So we set up a chamber for Macks. It's not very big. It's big enough that Macks can go in and open the can and drink it. So how long? It's got an airlock so that we can, get him in there without exploding everyone. We get Macks into the airlock. We pressurize the airlock. He opens the door. He opens the can. He swigs the can. He puts it down, he goes back in the airlock, and then he spends presumably a long time decompressing himself, but he gets that perfect swig.
As good as you can get. Okay, so what I have here is that it tends to set in about 90 plus meters deep for divers, and you can roughly estimate that about every 10 meters is 1 atmosphere.
Sure.
So 9 atmospheres on top of the 1 additional atmosphere from our atmosphere. So about 10 atmospheres of pressure. At that depth, you experience intense hallucinations, increased intensity of vision and hearing, auditory hallucinations, sense of impending blackout, dizziness, euphoria, manic or depressive states, disorganization sense of time, changes in facial appearance, unconsciousness, and death. So long as we get him out of there before the unconsciousness or
the death part,
the auditory hallucinations and loss of sense of time make him forget how long he's in there and keep him from hearing us to get him out. I think this is worth it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we could do this.
It won't be perfect, but it'll be a lot more CO2 in the drink.
I have a feeling it would be bad.
This is the one problem in Max's life, apparently.
Really quickly pressurize the airlock, because otherwise he's just going to get the toxicity in the airlock. So so you have to really just shove all of it in there really fast, which would just crush him. I don't know.
And then there's the bends on the depressurization.
He would just have to. We'll workshop it. We'll figure it out, Max.
In the meantime, Max, suckle up to the teat of that soda fountain. Like a newborn baby calf. A Coca-Cola calf.
So gross.
Problem solved.
Let's take a break and just contemplate that.
I'm going to grab a soda. This has been sitting here for 4 days.
That's not even... It's so flat.
Did the ADHD resonate with you as well? Things going flat? Yeah,
definitely.
I thought so.
I definitely open them, set them down, and then wander off and never come back. And then come back days later, and I'm like, is that the one that I just sat down? And it's never the one I just sat down.
No. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying some fresh refreshments as opposed to some stale restalements. Welcome back. Trace, what's your question?
My question comes from Emilie, who asks, how much hair do I need to grow to lose weight?
Oh.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah. And
I think I see where Emily's going with this. Okay, yeah, lay it on me.
Emilie elaborated quite longly. This thought has occurred to me a few times while watching a tumbleweed-like mass of cat hair roll by in what was previously a freshly swept room as our cats peacefully again today while brushing one of our hairy dogs and a possible my cats are just hair or fur growing machines. They basically just eat and sleep. Is there any fact to that? Here we've got a question so far. Not the quantity of hair, I have evidence of that all around me, but the energy? With conservation of matter and energy in their daily energy intake, does your average, rather hairy house cat, relatedly, how many calories does your average human spend on hair growth per day? How bald naturally? Do they need to eat less? What if I was covered in very thick hair? Thermoregulation, so saving energy by foregoing hair might not be worth it. We could ignore that or not. I'm not your boss. Look, I didn't write it. I just read it.
No, that was beautiful. Emilie has a way with words.
There are a lot of parentheses in here, which I appreciate because I also do that. Mid-sentence, I'm just like, but also this thing.
Bonus thoughts.
Bonus thoughts. That should have been the name of this podcast.
Oh, that's also really
Bonus
good.
thoughts. We're going to rebrand. That's it.
I have so many thoughts. Bonus thoughts.
Bonus thoughts. Okay, firstly, I don't think we can talk about hair without referencing our previous episode, Pod 76, Forever in a Hair, where we learned so much about how our hair works. Mm-hmm. The perfect time for Reginald to break it up, break off your head there, by the way. Get up there, Reggie. Come on, bud. Dance, dance. So, some recap in case you didn't listen to Pod 76. I highly recommend you go back and do it. 2 types, vellus and terminal hairs, exist on your body. Terminal are the head, chest, eyelashes, basically everything you can see, like a darker colored hair if you have darker colored hair. It's got more melanin in it. 75 to 85% of people have brown or black hair. I think in that episode I actually said more like 80%, and that's from Medline, which is not super accurate. I think it overestimated. It exists for lots of reasons, and we can come back to that.
I'm glad we've cleared that up.
Yeah, we're good correction there.
People were out there overestimating how many people with dark
brown or with dark hair there were by 5% potentially.
Huge error.
Look, I got
massive.
I'm journalistic. I'm not a journalist. There's also vellus hair, which is the peach fuzz, soft, fine hair that cover the whole body except the palms, feet, lips, and eyelids. It's light colored, it's fine, it's soft. It's very little melanin. Vellus hair is existing to help regulate body temperature and feel things, etc. So hair is mostly keratin. It's a hard protein, but it's also water, and we've mentioned, of course, melanin and a few other things. It's essentially a protein synthesis machine, your hair follicle, which is where your hair grows out of. It's growing out of a follicle all the time. We have 5 million of them all over our bodies. These things are essentially tiny independent organs. They have their own blood vessels, a tiny little muscle that moves the hairs around. They have nerves so they can feel the wind blow by. And hair grows in 3 stages: anagen, which is active growth; catagen, where growth stops; and telogen, which is the resting phase, where hair hangs out for about 100 days and then falls out so a new hair can grow. So anyway, hair follicles are like self-contained mini organs, and we talked about it then because somebody asked, what if you had the terminal hair all over your whole body? What if your body was just covered in Reginalds? Just fluffy little Reginalds dancing around like baby Groot.
He's so happy about it.
So happy. And it was an interesting story. We talked a lot about it. It was really neat. We learned a lot about hair. But in this case, we're talking about something we didn't get into in that episode, which as soon as I read this, thought, what? We didn't get into this. How much hair are we growing per day, specifically? How much mass of hair that is? And then, according to what we could find, what energy it requires to grow that mass of hair per day. So I've got answers to all of these things. Any guesses how much a single hair might grow in a day?
Like lengthwise?
Lengthwise, yeah. You can do some math if I give you a hint. You might get about a half an inch or about a centimeter of hair a month in growth. So, you can do quick division and find out about.
So that would mean per day, your hair is growing about 17 meters. Did I do that right?
Yeah, you did it right. That was perfect. I don't know how you were able to do that in your head. That was incredible, man.
I'm pretty smart.
Don't tell him.
What if I did grow 17 meters of hair a day and you didn't know? You don't know the struggles I'm going through. Every day I wake up tangled Rapunzel-esque in my own follicles.
Keep your shirt on because you grow a lot more hair than you think.
This isn't a shirt. This is my hair woven into an intricate pattern.
I like to say people are like, oh, did you forget to take your sweater off? When I take my shirt off because I'm quite hairy. And I'm like, yeah, I did. I only brought the crew neck today. I should have brought the V-neck. Too hot. So I assume you actually did the correct math in your head, which is about a third of a millimeter, 0.35 millimeters a day.
I mean, I knew you'd tell me, so I didn't really bother. I mostly spent time thinking about the silliest number I could think of.
And 17 is what you came up with?
17 meters.
Woof. We got to take the comedy part off of this category. The silliest thing I can think of is 17 meters.
There's a funnier number than 17. Name one.
One.
That's what I was going for.
You told me to name one. I named one. See?
Yeah, name one. You did
this is an Abbott and Costello routine now.
One is not the funniest number, though. It's the loneliest number.
So if you add 0.35 millimeters per day across 100,000 hairs on the average head, you're growing 35 meters of hair per day.
I was halfway there.
I know. That's why I was like, hold on to your hat. You know what I'm saying?
If you put it end to end in 2 days, in half a
day, you basically grow 17 meters of hair. It's kind of amazing. You were like, nailed it, really. You nailed it.
That's an insane amount of hair for a single person to be making.
And you're doing it every day. Every day. So we now know that we're getting about 0.35 millimeters per day. So then we need the mass of hair per length of hair. So a hair strand, if you just Google how much does hair weigh, they're going to say a strand of hair weighs between 100 milligrams and 150 milligrams.
Yeah.
But no one tells you how long that hair is.
You need the mass-length ratio, and that would be much better because it's length independent.
Yeah, and nobody tells you that. And they also don't take into account the fact that different peoples of different places around this planet have different thicknesses of hair based on their ethnicity, their genetics. You know, different ethnic groups tend to have different widths and thicknesses of hair. Kinkier hair is thicker than very thin kind of blondish hair, and so on and so forth. So all of those are going to affect it. So we're going to try and just go right down the middle. But I did found this guy, Dr. Thomas Dawson from A** Institute of Medical Biology, and their website looks real shady, but I kept reading, and apparently, it's part
this guy's making some good points.
Yeah. Apparently, it's part of Singapore's Agency for Science, Tech, and Research, which is Singapore Agency for Science, Technology, and Research Star. Agency for A Star. Anyway, apparently that's what it is. Again, it's a little shady, but he has been published in the Journal of Cosmetic Science, which is pretty cool.
So, did you find what you were looking for?
I did find what I'm looking for.
Would you say you wished upon a star and your dreams came true?
I hate you. I actually hate that I didn't think of that sooner. I was just so upset at this website that looks like it was made in the year 2008. Anyway, so Dawson is also apparently affiliated with the University of South Carolina in some way. I don't know. Anyway, so Dr. Thomas Dawson said one hair is about 0.62 milligrams for every 11.4 centimeters, which is a widely cited number for some reason. And then it's like a weird measurement of hair. It's 4.5 inches, but still weird that they would convert it to metric and be like, yeah, that's fine. Then I found an American Chemical Society paper, and then another paper from a different person, and named Carlson says in 2018 that 200 millimeters of hair weighs on average about 1 milligram. But if you do some math and kind of try and put those numbers together, you get about the same thing. They're all kind of around the same range, which makes sense if you're taking into account different ethnic types of hair, et cetera, et cetera. So we're going to go with about 0.005 milligrams of hair, medium texture, per millimeter. So it's a very small amount of hair. The reason I'm doing this is to keep common units, so hopefully people can kind of follow. Milligrams is very small. It's a very small unit, as is a millimeter. But hair is quite light. And so we could go with a big mass of it, but that's not really what we're talking about. So when we brush a cat, for example, you're going to get essentially a handful of hair off of that cat, especially in the spring. The coarser hair, even off of a cat, which, by the way, fur on a cat is just hair. We call it fur, but it's actually just hair. It's the same thing that we have in our own heads.
Is there a distinction between fur and hair?
Not really. If you go and look it up, they're like, nah, fur is really just hair. We just call it a different thing. Like, would you say a chimpanzee has fur or hair?
Hair.
Right, but it's really essentially terminal hair, similar to what we have. You can play that game of like, okay, well, what about a small monkey primate, New World primate? Do they have fur or hair? And it's short and fluffy and much softer. Do sloths have hair or fur? You get into this weird game of like, what is the difference? And the answer is it's really just what it's made of. So it's all made of that same keratin stuff.
Okay.
So we have all of the numbers that we need for that first bit. We've got hair growth per day at about 0.35 millimeters a day, times the number of hairs on your head, which range from about 90 to 120,000, 80 to 120,000, depending on your age, ethnicity, your sex, etc. So we're going to go with 100,000. And then we have to multiply that by the mass per strand, which is 0.005 milligrams per millimeter. And then we get the grams of hair growth per day. You want to do a drum roll or something? Because the math nerds are already out there. You've already done this.
Kyle, drum roll.
This is exciting. Here we go. This is it. The suspense. Got it. We're building up to it, just like an anagen follicle is building up by building the hair, because this is protein synthesis. Anyway, 175 milligrams.
Is the total amount of
that's it.
Of
that's
the hair that we're growing per day?
175 milligrams.
So 0.175 grams
of biomass,
or 0.000175 kilograms.
Yep.
Not an effective weight loss strategy.
Not effective.
If your plan was to grow your hair out and then shave it.
Would you like some comparisons here? Because I looked it up, and that's like, one raindrop. I don't know how they measured it, but that's what it said.
Sure.
8.5 grains of rice, 40 grains of sand, 50 sesame seeds, or about 1/40th as heavy as the human eye. What?
That really puts it in perspective.
It does, right?
I was reading something yesterday. This is a bonus thought. I was reading something the other day, and it was like, in 8 weeks, less time than it takes to cure a traditional English fruitcake. And people were making fun of what an absurd, like, how that doesn't help you contextualize the measurement at all.
Not at all.
And I'm like, if anything, this just told me more about fruitcake than I ever realized. I didn't realize it has to sit there for more than 8 weeks. That's all I know now.
Takes forever, and you're pouring a shot of booze into it every day, and it's it's weird. Yeah, Christmas cake's weird. I only know that because I lived there for 6 months over Christmas, and everybody was like, "Try a Christmas cake," and I'm like, "No, thank you."
That you've been making since Halloween? Like,
no, thank you, Ringo. I made a song about an octopus. Okay, buddy. So how much does all of this hair cost to build for your body?
Right. Metabolically
speaking. There's an overhead for protein synthesis, metabolics, making that hair shaft. But we're not going to do any more math. I didn't want to. So we're just going to look at output. And I found Dr. Dawson again because there wasn't a lot of sources on this specific thing.
That guy is a star.
He is oh, God. He's super into hair. And he says 670 kilojoules per gram, or about 670 joules per milligram. And that number was quoted in other places. They did not attribute it to anyone or cite that specific number back to Dawson, but I'm assuming that Dawson was the originator of that. More research is needed. But anyway, 670 joules, not a lot. It's like 0.16 nutritional calories. So not really much effort at all. And I think it's interesting because hair is one of the biggest cellular machines, like in terms of the amount of cells being made, the amount of metabolic effort being put into this thing. It's one of the most active, most rapid in all of mammal kind, hair making. And in the human body, it's like number 2 or something. It's intestinal cells that are constantly being re-upped, and then hair. It's like wild. It's super high up.
We spent a lot of effort on our hair.
We spent a lot of effort on it, and we're constantly with tens of thousands of individual mini organs all over your head doing this, and you can do that from the energy of about like 35 grams of peas, about 100 to 200 peas, depending on how big your peas are. Do you feel like your peas that way?
I feel like my peas are a normal size. I wouldn't consult a doctor about them.
No, you shouldn't unless it's a lot or a little or too frequent, or if you're doing it more than twice at night. That's like 2% of our basal metabolic energy, essentially. But still, 2% of all the energy in your body is going to growing your hair all the time. If you were a software engineer, would you be like, we need to put like 2% of all of our CPU toward this cosmetic and also UV protection and, whatever.
What I'm hearing is bald people are just more efficient. They're just better.
Are you going bald? Or are you trying to set yourself
I'm just
up
saying,
for success? I don't understand.
I'm going to reframe this, right? I know this can be a sensitive subject, especially for men whose hair is departing them.
Yeah.
But I just think, look at you. You're not wasting resources like your precious food. All those peas, you can divert that elsewhere.
That's true. Maybe that's why Mr. Worldwide is so successful.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have to grow the hair.
To go everywhere.
Mr. International.
He's a pit bull. If he had hair, he'd be a chihuahua.
Can you imagine Pitbull with hair, though? I don't think I can. Okay, maybe I can.
I'm imagining
it'd be pretty with like a little part, like a cute little part.
My brain went straight to the stereotypical, can I see the manager haircut on him for some reason.
The Kate Gosselin? That was a reference that the kids will not get. And don't Google it. It's not worth your time.
Yeah, but because he doesn't have that, he can instead be an internationally successful music superstar.
Mr. Worldwide.
Yeah, that's the secret.
So you're growing this amount of hair every single day. I did find out, because I think this puts it in perspective in a nice way. I'm going to send this in the chat real quick. I found this image of what about a gram of hair.
It's just Pitbull in a wig that you sent me.
I made that really fast.
This whole thing's been leading up to it. You're ready for my diversion. Okay, what a gram of hair looks like.
So click on this and tell everyone what it looks like.
It's about this. It's next to a tablespoon for
literally
size reference, an actual spoon that you would set on the table. And it's like roughly in the same size.
Right.
Like a clump of hair and a tablespoon are about the same size laid out.
I think of it like about filling the palm of your hand. Like if you were to just bunch it up, it'd be like a little ball in your palm. That is as much hair, that's a gram of hair. So you're going to grow that every few days. But it's not very much. So not a really good dietary strategy. Now, we didn't talk about cats in part because, and I've sort of hinted here, really what it is there's not a lot of basic research where people shave a cat down to their skin and then take their mass. You can't just take the mass of the cat. You'd have to shave them again and be like, okay, we let them grow their fur, or you'd have to figure this out with different species of cats, different types of cat hair. And we barely have done this for people. So we're not going to there's not really a lot of benefit. So it has to be basic research.
You mean A-Star isn't all over this?
Somebody would have to fund research into cat hair mass. And honestly, I'm interested, but I don't have the funds. Sorry. I do want to take this to an absolutely absurd conclusion before we wrap up, though. So it's not a great dietary situation. You're not using a lot of energy to grow your hair. 2% of your metabolic rate is a lot. But if you think about it, your muscle mass is 25% of your metabolic rate resting. Just to maintain the muscle mass you currently have, it's 25% of all the energy in your body. Your brain is a huge amount of your energy, right? It's just we're talking about something that is important because it's a sexual signal. It protects you from UV damage to the top of your head and sometimes other parts of your body if you have a lot of it. so on and so forth. It is an important part of your body. It keeps the sun out of your eyes for your eyebrows' sake, keeps dust out of your eyes for your eyelashes. It all has purposes, but 2%, whatever. So we didn't talk about vellus hair at all. The fur on your cat and the hair on your head are terminal hairs, remember? Yeah. And vellus hair is metabolically cheap compared to terminal hair. If you think about it this way, hair scales with the square cube law. Because the hair is so much smaller, so much lighter, and so much thinner, it doesn't really have a comparable amount of energy. However, vellus hair can, as we mentioned in Pod 79, turn into terminal hair, typically at puberty, where some of those hair follicles stop making vellus hair and start making terminal hair. And we have 5 million hair follicles. So, they can be pretty hairy. However, at puberty, let's say you're a very hairy man. Because I think that's something that was implied by Emilie as well. Like, what if you're very hairy? What if you're bald? Does that change this math? And yes, of course it does. If you have 250,000 terminal hairs, so let's, we're adding another 150,000. The amount of hair on your head, but spread it over your whole body and add a little extra. So, and then, like maybe a beard. You're growing about 340 milligrams of hair per day now. About twice as much.
Yeah, double it basically.
Yeah. Now, the Dawson energy assumption, if you will, of 670, you get about 54 kilocalories.
Dawson's law.
I didn't want to call it a law. It hurt my soul to call it a law, so I called it an energy assumption. I'm just like, ugh.
But I like the idea of a very obscure, but like rigorously defined scientific law.
Dawson energy assumption.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's better. Fine, be more accurate.
Less fun. It's about 54 kilocalories of energy, or about 400 Ps. So before you're at like 1 to 200 Ps, you've doubled it. Basically a tiny snack, and you've grown all of the hair for a hairy man for the whole day. Or you could just say a hairy person, really, like somebody who's got hair all over their body, terminal hair, and a beard. But that's like the max for most people, unless you really want to go insane and say all 5 million hair follicles are growing terminal hairs. And they're all growing at the max rate. Your poor eyelashes.
You're a healthy cousin it.
Yeah, I made that reference. I said
you're a fine, very upstanding Wookiee.
A cousin it, very 2026 reference. You're a 17th century German woman named Barbara van Beck.
I was waiting for you to bring her up. I remember her from the episode you did with her.
We talked about her in the episode. She was covered in terminal hair. How many more Ps do you think it would take to grow 5 million terminal hairs every day? Growing 0.35 millimeters a day every day. 5 million hairs.
1,000 Ps.
It would take 50 times more energy.
Oh, that's way more.
About 1.5 kilometers of hair produced every day.
Oh, man.
We're talking a serious metabolic cost at that point of 6,000 kilojoules a day. We're talking about basically all you ate today are peas. And that contributed to your hair growth almost entirely.
Barbara must have been starving.
Oh, wow. I didn't even think of that. Poor Barbara.
Although the portraits of Barbara, she doesn't seem to have hair like on her shoulders or anything. It's not, she doesn't look fully covered like her
You're
face
saying
is.
that her hair is not everywhere.
I was waiting for screaming infidelities to
I don't think
up.
that she, a 17th century German woman, would spend a lot of time screaming infidelities.
No, actually, some other portraits, her shoulders do seem to have a lot of hair.
I do think she probably had a lot of body hair as well.
It would make more sense for it to be all over to me, but
yeah, same. Emilie, the answer is not a lot. Not a great amount of weight lost. Now, if you were to say grow a bunch of your hair and then trim it off, you could do the math. I didn't, for how much hair you're losing when you're trimming off your hair. But I didn't think that was really what you were asking. Like, how much do you lose at a haircut? That kind of thing. But what I do think is if there was a magic button and that magic button turned on 1 million of your follicles to grow terminal hair, it would not be without side effects. But if you think about it as like a good amount of your daily metabolic energy would go to just growing that hair. And you may as well braid it, at that point. So I would say if you're going to grow it, you're probably going to grow it like out of the chest belly area. So when you have something to do while you're watching television, like you're knitting, but you're really just braiding your own hair that you're growing. Because why not? Why? Imagine if you had like a front beard that went from all the way down, like a Tolkien dwarf kind of situation. I feel like that would be good.
Yeah.
Except for it's attached all the way down.
Yeah, it's woven all together. Well, you wouldn't want to weave your neck beard into it then. Like, it would make turning your head harder.
No, I think you'd have to probably
you have to build in slack. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to build some slack into the neck.
Yeah.
For range of movement. But man, your clothes, your underwear would look wild. I have a feeling if you're just growing hair out everywhere, you'd look all puffy.
You could get away without it. I mean, it'd be silly to try and fit into like tight fitting clothing. Definitely all baggy.
Yeah.
But if necessary, I think you'd probably be able to dye it. We talked about this on the thing. We literally talked about this on that episode. It was like halfway through our run at this point, if it was episode 70 something and we're on 125 now. But yeah, we talked about how you'd probably just be dyeing your hair.
Yeah. That we were talking about social implications.
Yeah.
So that was a part of the question, which I love those questions where we just get to make it up.
Yeah, you just riff.
You don't have to do math. I do want to say, before we end, I want to have a quick gripe time.
Okay.
Should we do it after the credits or should we do it before the credits?
After.
Great. Let's do the credits real quick, and then we'll come back for a quick gripe time.
Gripe time, bonus thoughts. Okay. Well, okay, that's going to do it for this episode of That's Absurd. Please Elaborate. The show was created, written, and produced by the hairiest man I know, Trace Dominguez.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. And it was also created, written, and produced by Reginald's friend, Julian.
I got him back up there. I lost him for a little bit, but I just flicked him back up. And Reggie's back, baby.
Reggie! The show was also produced and edited by the wonderful, and if he were to grow his hair out, which he doesn't, but if he were to grow it out, I bet you it would look like one of those herbal essences commercials from the early 2000s.
Who always looks like he's just emerged from a waterfall.
Kyle Sis. This show was associate produced by Sabrina Capello. Also, great hair. Our music is thanks to Epidemic Sound. Don't know anything about the people's hair who work there.
I'm sure it's just right.
I'm sure it's great for them.
Thanks to listeners who submitted questions featured in this episode, Macks and Emilie. If you want to submit a question, look for the form down in our show notes or email us at hello@that'sabsurdshow.com. Visit our website, that'sabsurdshow.com/ask. You can call us 302-TAPE-SHOW. That's TAPESHO. Hopefully that's enough ways for you to get in touch with us, although people are finding more. I long for the day we receive a carrier pigeon. We could not do this show without your questions. They are silly and delightful and sometimes quite poetically written, as Emily's was about her cat hair. And I can empathize with my cat Bootsy and dog Pepper, and that's probably a bingo for somebody else. I haven't brought up Pepper for a long time. Anyway, we couldn't do the show without these questions, so keep them coming. We love them. Thank you so much for sending them in.
I do want to say, if people really wanted to send us a postcard with their question on it, they could do that.
Ooh. Do we have a P.O. box or something?
350 North Bedford Road, Mount Kisco, New York, 10579. Unit 1057.
I feel like that would be kind of hacking the system, though, because if we get a question on a postcard, how are we not going to answer it? You put in so much effort.
Look, the address is out there now. We can't stop it.
It can't be taken back. Okay.
Thank you to our absurd administrators, Adam, Les, Austin, Jonathan, Dan, Sabrina the Brain, Hannah, Apothecarian, Christina, Atomic Straw, Brian, Shane, Metric Ton of Batcat. We appreciate you very, very much. Thank you for being our absurd administrators. Happy anniversary to some of our ridiculous researchers. Christina, 6 months. Thank you so much for being a supporter for so long. And thank you so much for being the mother of Sabrina Capello, our associate producer. We really appreciate you very much, and her.
And all your hair.
And all of the hair. That's weird. Because of the support of our patrons, we can keep this podcast going. So thank you so much to every single person who has joined our Patreon, whether we have named you or not. We appreciate you.
So grateful for your hair, guys. We just love your hair.
We love your hair. Love it. Your vellus, your terminal, you name it, we love it.
Oh, big fan of all your guys' hair. How to make it weird in one step.
If you're listening to the show and haven't left us a review, now's your chance. You can leave right now and stop this madness. Go compliment our hair in your comment, please, and then send it to us. We love reading them. We love reading your reviews. We do check and we do read them and we do laugh, especially if they make fun of one of us or reference an inside joke from the show. That's really funny, and it tells other people this show has something that they want. So please leave a review. Or if you've already left a review and you want to support the show, tell your friend about it. Try and get somebody else to listen to it. Text a random number. Airdrop it to a random person at the coffee shop. Just airdrop them a podcast in a public place. If they got their yeah, you can share. Just airdrop the podcast to some random person. I don't know if that's actually going to help the show.
That's awful. It's a terrible thing to do.
I used to name my phone the Sloth Pimp. And then I would just airdrop pictures of sloths to people, usually on airplanes back before you could turn off.
Before Apple got wise to malicious airdropping.
You could just have it on for everyone all the time, like some kind of crazy person, like some kind of chaotic evil person. So I would just airdrop everyone on an airplane pictures of sloths. And so it would say, Sloth Pimp wants to send you a picture, and it would be a picture of a sloth. You know?
And then it's just the Arrested Development meme of like, well, I don't know what I was expecting.
Right. Sometimes people would accept, which I felt good about.
And finally, a special thanks to those listening on Nebula. Nebula listeners get access to ad-free versions of episodes. They support us and other great independent creators. I've been on a Nebula kick. Lately, I found a new channel I was enjoying, Spectacles, I think it's called.
Oh, yeah.
Where he did a whole breakdown on White House architecture over time that was really cool. Or
interesting.
Tom Scott's back.
Tom Scott's back.
Real Engineering bought a machine that lets them basically see the inside of anything they put into it.
True.
And they're putting out episodes about that on like the old school iPod and the Nokia Thor's Hammer phone. And those are on Nebula, and I am there and enjoying it because I'm a big nerd, and I suspect many of you are too. So if you want to join Nebula, visit go.nebula.tv/that'sabsurdshow. Support us and other independent creators.
Now, before we do what we say at the end of every episode, let me just do my gripe time.
Gripe time!
My gripe is pseudoscience using science words. And Emilie reminded me of this because she used the conservation of matter and energy when talking about like, oh, my cat grows hair, and like conservation of matter and energy and whatnot. Does that use calories? I see where Emilie's coming from. I think that's totally fine. Like, that's fine. Cats respect the laws of thermodynamics. Just like everything.
I mean, not human laws, but laws of nature. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, laws of nature. When I say respect, you have to put it in the frame of a cat. You know, like
they'll begrudgingly accept.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, begrudgingly accept the laws of thermodynamics.
Physics.
But while I was researching this question, something came up in my feed, and it was a video podcast of two people, and one of the people, I'm not going to name it because I just don't think it's worth it, but one of the people was just using science words left and right. Things like conservation of energy. And they like, oh, well, you know, energy is free. It just exists out in the universe. And all you have to do is like get it. And so when they charge us for energy, that's just like evil capitalism. And I'm like, look, I can get down on capitalism, same as you. But hydrogen with a slight wiggle floating around in the universe is not the same as electricity that powers your devices. Those are not the same things. And using them interchangeably is my gripe. And the problem that we have is we use these science words to try and get a specific point across. And sometimes we have to use them out of context. And that can cause people who don't know what they are to also use them out of context.
I have a similar gripe time. I have a friend who is like a very mystical kind of person.
Sure.
And they shared something recently that was like, well, you know, when we observe things, we change the nature of them. Like we've seen with like, you know, Schrodinger's cat and blah, 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 which means when you imagine something, you make it real because your mind. And I was like, no. Sorry. It's like you're manifesting stuff into the universe because you're visualizing it. Is not the same as like wave functions collapsing of electrons. Like it's not the same thing.
Yeah. Look, they talk about how in quantum computing, you put something into quantum computers and it creates it in the chip at a quantum level. Yeah. And then people take that and are like, just like our brains are quantum computers. So we're really building. And I'm like, no, we're not.
Futurama had a stab at this a long time ago where they were like, they needed something to happen in the plot. And so they're like doing something with antimatter. And the professor is like, as Deepak Chopra tells us, quantum physics means anything can happen at any time for no reason. And it's like, no, there are rules. They're weird. They're not intuitive, but there are rules here.
Excellent. So my gripe time is more, if you listen to this podcast and you use science words out of their context, I love that you're using them and I love that you want to. And I love that you can, if you hear them used out in the world, you can say, hey, what does that mean? There is nothing more awesome as somebody who does it professionally than being an idiot on purpose.
It comes in handy.
It's so useful.
It's nice. It keeps you from looking like an idiot later if you're up front like, I don't know what you mean by that.
Right.
I'm not fully on board yet. Please explain more.
This works even outside of the pseudoscience context, right? If you're in school and you don't understand something, you raise your hand and you ask. Mm-hmm. And so like, my gripe is when people use it in the pseudoscience and then just using the science words.
Yeah, I also am not a fan of pseudoscience-y people taking things they don't understand, but acting like they do in order to inevitably sell you something.
Do you remember the documentary Gattaca?
Oh, how could I forget the documentary Gattaca?
And they had the term in the documentary Gattaca, the borrowed ladder.
Okay.
So if you've not seen the film Gattaca, basically it's like a genetically engineered super future society. Ethan Hawke's character was a natural born human, and Jude Law's character was an engineered human but had hurt themselves and could no longer function in society. So they like swapped identities. And it was this complicated process and blah, blah, blah. And it was also that like Ethan Hawke's character could fully participate in society. And they used the term in the film, a borrowed ladder. This is what that is. When a pseudoscience person uses something like manifesting is just the law of conservation of energy. And it's like, that's a borrowed ladder. You are borrowing the ladder of something that has a lot of scientific weight, evidence, important, thoughtful people have come up with these terms. And now you're stealing the ladder to try and put it up to your crazy. And that's fine. But like,
give me my ladder back.
Give me my ladder back. End gripe time.
You're using the ladder wrong. You're using the ladder in an unsafe manner.
Your OSHA will not approve of your ladder usage.
The base of the ladder while you're at the top of it.
You're doing cartoon physics where you pick up the ladder at the top of the ladder and flip it over and then keep climbing.
Yeah, which Deepak Chopra tells us is allowed.
Amazing. Okay, so Julian, what do we say at the end of every episode of our show?
Oh, this is the old soda.
Oh, this is the 3-hour-old one.
Oh, this is the one I opened 6 days ago.
Me too. I got one.
Oh my God. No, that's the fresher one.
No, hang on. Let me try it.
Oh, no, still bad. Yep. Where's
is this yesterday's coffee or today's coffee? Which mug is it? I don't know.
Any one of these 6 mugs could hold the coffee I just poured. Oh, wait, that was already 2 days ago.
I have.
You have 2 mugs?
I got 2 mugs. I got a can that I don't know how long it's been here. I got a cup of water that tastes like carbonic acid.
You are so refreshed.
I am a beverage goblin, and I'm happy about it. Well, thanks for listening to this episode of That's Absurd. Please elaborate. We will see you next week with another episode.